KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with the details. Heather?
Maria, we've learned that the Skyline Mine Complex in Carbon County has been dealing with flooding this morning. This is about 30 miles northwest from Price. The mine is owned by Wolverine Fuels, and a spokesperson has confirmed to KSL no one was hurt and everyone is accounted for. According to its website, Wolverine Fuels has 7 complexes and 3 active mines, and about 450 of their employees work at Skyline. The mining operations there are underground and they produce 4 million tons of coal a year. And flooding is nothing new for this mine. Back in the early 2000s, they mined through a significant fault line and groundwater flowed into the mine. They had to consistently pump out 2,000 to 4,000 gallons per minute. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
The Great Salt Lake Commission is a little nervous this year after a particularly dry winter. Commissioner Brian Steed says they are going into conservation mode.
Putting less water outside is going to be key, and so we'll be hitting over the next few months a wait to water message, as well as trying to work with farmers and ranchers.
Steed says they've been talking with the agricultural community in the last few months to create a game plan. A bill that would raise property taxes for landlords has brought concerns for both renters and property owners. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
A bill sponsored by Senator Dan McKay would remove tax exemptions for landlords who own multiple rental properties.
My question for my colleagues is, should we continue this policy where the exemption applies to rentals and we're getting more and more rentals?
He says the exemption could be incentivizing further building of rental properties instead of homes. However, renters and landlords tell KSL this would raise rental costs through the state at a time when everyone is struggling with housing affordability. Some pointing out property owners may even shift to short-term rentals. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. A man convicted of plotting to shoot and kill President Trump has been sentenced to life in prison. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more.
As she sentenced Ryan Ruth to spend the rest of his life in prison, Judge Eileen Cannon referred to his actions as evil. Ruth was convicted last September on 5 counts, including attempted assassination of a presidential candidate and assaulting a federal officer. The 60-year-old hid in the bushes of the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach and pointed his SKS rifle toward a Secret Service agent as Trump was golfing nearby.
Ruth represented himself at trial. Martin County Sheriff John Budensik was in the courtroom.
The judge made a comment at the very end about there was a sliver of good that came out of this incident. And, of course, there was nothing good in this incident except for the fact of the heroic acts of the Secret Service agent that put himself in harm's way, really in harm's way. This guy had an AK-47 loaded, 20-something rounds in the magazine, put himself in harm's way and prevented a shooting.
A defense attorney recently appointed for Ruth says that he plans to file an appeal. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. The White House says planned nuclear talks with Iran will still happen, even though the U.S. shot down an Iranian drone in the Arabian Sea. ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez says it's a provocative move.
Very escalatory, and given the timing that there's going to be these talks taking place this weekend between the United States and Iran, it kind of sets the tone about whether it might lead to a setback. But what we heard from Caroline Leavitt, the White House spokesperson yesterday, is that and from President Trump himself actually, is that the talks are going to continue.
2 Iranian gunboats neared a U.S. crewed merchant ship just hours after that drone was shot down. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is ready to meet with the Iranian officials, but the talks must address Iran's ballistic missile program, its sponsorship of terrorist proxies in the region, its nuclear program, and its treatment of the Iranian people.
If the Iranians want to meet, we're ready. They've expressed an interest in meeting and talking. If they change their mind, we're fine with that, too.
Steve Witkoff and businessman Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, are expected to lead those talks. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Tito Nani.
Good afternoon. It looks like we do have reports of a vehicle fire on southbound I-15 just past 2nd North in Kaysville. The right lane as well as the right shoulder are blocked off. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Ugh. Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit of federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit AnyHourServices.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top local story. One man is dead after a shooting in Tooele. Police have confirmed that an officer was involved. KSL News Time 12:08. Lawmakers from both parties are pushing back on President Trump's repeated calls for the federal government to nationalize elections. More from ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
The Constitution gives the power to states to run elections. So the president continues to repeat these calls. Yesterday, the White House press secretary was asked pretty simply, does the president believe in the authority given to the states under the Constitution? And Caroline Leavitt said, the president believes in the U.S. Constitution.
State elections officials are reacting to the president's calls, saying that this goes contrary to the Constitution. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman has more.
More specifically, this would challenge Article 1, Section 4, which discusses time, place, and manner of elections being determined by the states. Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman says that power belonging to the state is something that's been around since the inception of the country for a reason.
I will always say the way we do elections here in the state of Utah, it is the gold standard. But what works best for us is not necessarily going to work well for other territories in the state.
There aren't any moves or bills to nationalize elections on the table right now, but Chapman says if something like that were to happen, she would feel concerned for the rights of the state and of Utah citizens. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
A Utah lawmaker wants to require mandatory government training for people who gather signatures for initiatives in our elections. State Representative Paul Cutler is sponsoring the bill.
If they have training classes, if they go through this, they would understand the law better, and it would make it very clear what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do.
A committee of lawmakers just passed the bill just about a week after we spoke with several Utahns who told us that they felt they were being misled by some signature gatherers in the state. Cutler says he thinks this will help address people's concerns. The bill still needs to clear a few more hurdles to reach the governor. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer your savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Tito?
We have a vehicle fire on southbound I-15 just past 2nd North in Kaysville. Emergency crews are on the scene. The right lane and shoulder are being blocked off. Are you tired of dealing with missing teeth? Are you ready to ditch the dentures? The experts at Stubbs Dental can change your life with dental implants. Get started at stubbsdental.com today. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Normal daytime high right around 41. We're going to go to 55 today, mostly sunny skies. Overnight, 33, mostly clear. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, a little bit of haze. 56 for your Thursday. Friday, we're up to 57, partly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And a few clouds, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos. We'll talk with KSL's legal analyst Greg Skordas about the man convicted of trying to kill the president and his life sentence. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Over the past couple of years, you've heard me talk about Salt Lake City Fat Loss, and it's pretty easy to brag about this program because it's such a great program. It helped me lose more than 40 pounds, and many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. So if you're in that mode where you really need to reset your resolutions for the new year, just didn't do so well in trying to lose those extra pounds by yourself, I want you to consider Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Right now, they are offering $200 off to help you get back on track through the end of February. Now, this is a doctor-developed, all-natural program. And again, it helps you lose up to a pound per day without any injections or drugs or workouts. And there are no prepackaged meals, which means this program is less expensive than many other programs. My husband even lost weight, and he wasn't even on the plan. He was just eating the same great food that I was eating. They have a great app. It gives you all the resources you need to make sure that you're successful, including a daily inspirational tip. So don't miss out. Take advantage of this deal that they're offering right now, their resolution reset, $200 off because it's going to end February 28th. All you need to do is go to slcfatloss.com for more information, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KSL News Time 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
no one's hurt and everyone is accounted for, but workers at Skyline Mine in Carbon County are trying to cope with serious flooding today. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, one man is dead after he was shot by police in Tooele. Third, traffic and weather together, Tito.
The vehicle fire on southbound I-15 near 2nd North in Kaysville looks to be in the cleanup stages. The right lane is now open. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Florida-like spring-like conditions through the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Florida, a federal judge today handing down a life sentence for the man convicted of plotting to shoot and kill President Trump at his golf course in 2024. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
As she sentenced Ryan Ruth to spend the rest of his life in prison, Judge Eileen Cannon referred to his actions as evil. Ruth was convicted last September on 5 counts, including attempted assassination of a presidential candidate and assaulting a federal officer. The The 60-year-old hid in the bushes of the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach and pointed his SKS rifle toward a Secret Service agent as Trump was golfing nearby.
The Trump administration is shrinking the number of federal agents on the ground in Minnesota. Border Czar Tom Homan, who took over those operations following the fatal shootings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, announced the drawdown today.
We'll draw down 700 people effective today.
That will still leave around 2,000 federal law enforcement agents on the ground in the Twin Cities. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, in a post on X, calls it a step in the right direction, but he also called for an end to the campaign. In Georgia, leaders in Fulton County say they're filing a court motion in response to last week's FBI raid targeting ballots and other voting records from the 2020 election and demanding that those records be returned. In Arizona, the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie continues. Police say the mother of Today, anchor Savannah Guthrie, was kidnapped from her Tucson home this weekend. ABC's Trevor Ault is there.
We don't know where she is. Tucson law enforcement say the 84-year-old was abducted from her home in the middle of the night. Now we're hearing police dispatch audio after Guthrie was reported missing.
Do we have a description yet of the subject? 84-year-old female, unknown clothes, not super mobile, possibly walking with a cane.
With authorities at the time already concerned about her health.
You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. As you just heard on ABC News, the man convicted of trying to assassinate the president, Donald Trump, has been sentenced to life in prison. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas joins me live in studio. So, Greg, is this pretty much what we would expect in a case like this?
Yeah, I would think so. It wasn't a homicide. It wasn't a murder. It was an attempted murder, but there were also several other counts, and he did point a gun at a Secret Service agent. So if it was a murder case, they may have proceeded as a death penalty case, but as an attempted murder, it carries a potential term of up to life in prison. He had asked for a 27-year sentence, which is still significant. I mean, he's almost 60 years old, so he would have been in prison until his late 80s. But the judge said no, she wants him to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Yeah, one of the odd things about this case is that he actually decided to represent himself. How is that going to impact the case moving forward?
Well, it'll be interesting because often when people represent themselves, the courts of appeals or the Supreme Court will look at that and say, well, did he really know what he was doing? So a judge, when a person says, I want to represent myself, will have to go through a really detailed discussion, a really detailed colloquy and say, look, do you realize that what you're doing is foolish? Do you realize that what you're doing is wrong and that having a skilled lawyer is better than having no lawyer at all, and that but it is your right in America to represent yourself. So a judge will have to make sure, and the Court of Appeals will have to make sure that he was given the appropriate instruction on the risks and whether or not he really appreciated what he was doing by representing himself.
Maybe describe why that is our right in this country to represent ourselves.
Yeah, it's just part of the Constitution. A person has a right to represent themselves, and you can't just be the lawyer for someone. Like, for example, you not being an attorney can't represent someone in your family, but your family member could represent themselves. It's just one of the rights that we have in America, and it's always been that way, and judges protect it, and sometimes litigants say, no, in a criminal case, I want to represent myself, and they have the right to do that. You can be your own attorney.
Right. So I guess now there has been a defense attorney actually assigned to this case. So what does that mean, and how does it move forward from here?
So now that he's been convicted, he's not in a very good position to handle his own appeal. So they'll appoint a public defender's office to handle the appeal and see if there were anything done during the trial that was inappropriate, whether or not he was not given his appropriate rights. It looks like the trial went smoothly as it could be expected, but there are always things that could happen and that may have happened during the course of the trial or in the motion and periods of time leading up to the trial. They'll look at that very closely and decide whether or not he was convicted fairly, whether he had the right to see all the evidence against him, and whether or not he was competent to make the decision to represent himself.
Is it my imagination, or did this run through the court system very quickly?
Well, it occurred in September of 24, and this is not the one where Trump was shot in the ear. That one occurred a couple months earlier, and that person was actually killed by Secret Service agent. Ruth was hiding in the weeds at the golf course. It happened in September 24. He was convicted in September 25. A year is a pretty reasonable time, and then he's sentenced, of course, in February of 26.
All right. Thank you, Greg. And that is KSL's legal analyst Greg Skordas joining me. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. What's going on, Tito?
That vehicle fire on southbound I-15 near 2nd North in Kaysville looks to be in the final cleanup stages. Still some light congestion in the area, but it looks like we are picking up the pace. Step aboard history, walk through recreation, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of the Titanic. The exhibition, open now at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at titanicexhibition.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, quiet as ever to start. 55 today, mostly sunny skies, way above the normal tomorrow. 56, high pressure right over Utah, sunshine. Partly cloudy on Friday, 57. More mid-50s into Saturday and Sunday. Then clouds move in on Monday, 52, mostly cloudy, and a slight chance for a shower. Better chances for rain Tuesday and Wednesday next week with highs in the 40s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 48 degrees. And still to come on Midday, we are taking a look at your money news right now. The Dow is up, but the NASDAQ is headed for its worst performance in 2 weeks. A complete update of your money news is coming up next. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Man, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Are you on the hunt for your next big hunt? Then head to HuntExpo.com because that's where it starts. The Hunting Expo is coming to Salt Lake City February 12th to 15th. It's the biggest hunting show in the West. There's hundreds of guides and outfitters, plus your shot at Utah's top 200 hunting permits in a drawing. Parma Lee, Coffey Anderson, and Caleb Austin are all performing live. Book your next hunt, see the latest gear, and apply for Utah's biggest bucks and bulls at the Hunting Expo and HuntExpo.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
KSL News Time 1224. The Hogle Zoo is celebrating the birth of a new baby giraffe. The 139-pound baby was born last week, and he's already 5 foot 8 inches tall. He and his mom are still bonding, so you can't see him quite yet, but later this year, the public should be able to see little Hal. Watching Utah's Money, people are using buy now, pay later services to pay rent. AP says services like Flex, Livable, and Affirm split the rent payment through the month. Some worry that it doesn't solve the issue of affordability and actually leads renters to pay more in interest or fees. Taco Bell continues to be a hit. Its parent company, Yum Brands, says some store sales were up 7% in the last quarter. The new Xbox could be released as early as next year. Advanced Micro Devices says the Microsoft console could be completed by then. Right now, the companies are working on a console that embraces AI and machine learning. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 78 points, sitting at 49,320. S&P, though, down by 47 points. And the NASDAQ, it's down by more than 1.75%, down 412 points. Counterfeit makeup is hitting all sorts of store shelves, and it could be a dangerous price to pay for temporary beauty. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more.
Glittery makeup sets and fragrant gift boxes are sold everywhere, but beware, counterfeit cosmetics are flooding the market. According to the nonprofit group Unbiased Science, these knockoff products may contain banned color additives, bacterial contamination, and even toxic metals like mercury. Unlike legit brands, counterfeiters skip safety testing and manufacture outside of strict regulations, putting your health at risk. Red flags include mislabeled packaging, strong odors, and prices that seem way too good to be true. Be extra cautious when you buy from online shops, flea markets, discount stores, and social media ads. To stay glamorous yet safe, buy only from authorized retailers. Report suspicious products to the FDA, FTC, or Customs. Vigilance is key. Cheap beauty buys may wind up costing you more than you bargained for. With this Medical Minute, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I bowl in 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. What's happening on the roads, Tito?
Our major valley freeways look to be in great shape halfway through the 12 o'clock hour. No delays on I-15, 215, and I-80. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
I've got you down for another mild one today. Temperatures top around 55, mostly sunny skies. Overnight, 33. We bounce back to 56 tomorrow. Sunshine. High pressure allows for a couple of clouds on Friday. Partly cloudy, 57. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, partly cloudy skies, 48 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top story this hour, and it is developing news. One man is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Tooele. Police say they approached someone to follow up on a shooting that occurred last night in the area when the man approached them with a gun. Officers fired at the man, killing him. His identity has not been released at this time. We do have a reporter on the scene gathering details, and we will deliver those to you as soon as we get them here on KSL News Radio. Students at Utah Valley University gathered to protest federal immigration officials on campus today as one federal agency set up a shop at a campus job fair. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there.
Dozens of students all peacefully sat down across from the entrance to the job fair, holding signs showing their opposition to federal immigration enforcement. This was in direct response to U.S. Customs and Border Protection being given a spot at the job fair to recruit students.
Less than, 2 weeks ago, Alex Peretti was shot by Customs and Border Protection agents. The timing could not be worse.
Jack McNiven is one of the protest organizers and co-presidents of the Civil Disobedience Club at UVU. He says it was encouraging to see how many students showed up, and he says this is what he hopes federal immigration officers take away from seeing them all today.
No matter how much violence they commit against the American people will stand up and will stand together.
In a statement, UVU says they do job fairs like this every year, and participating employers have the right to advertise under their freedom of speech policies. At UVU, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The Western Athletic Conference has filed a lawsuit against UVU over exit fees from the conference. The Wolverines are leaving the WAC to join the Big West this summer, and the WAC says the school owes them $1 million in fees. The WAC also is prohibiting UVU from playing in conference championship events and NCAA championship events because they say the school is not in good standing. This will likely have to be worked out in the courts. A new report on incarcerated Utahns show that they are far less likely to have a high school education than the rest of the state and are more likely to struggle with drug use. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
The report from the Utah Foundation shows 39% of Utah's inmates do not have a diploma when compared to only 9% of the state's general population. The report also found Utah inmates use more drugs than inmates in other states. Research analyst Ashley Cantor says she hopes this data can help make future legislation decisions.
We'd also love to see expanding access to stable housing, addressing substance use more effectively, and re-examining community supervision practices that contribute to that reincarceration.
The report uses data from 2016, and Cantor is quick to point out the small sample size. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. Police are searching for evidence as to what exactly happened to Nancy Guthrie, the mother of the Today Show host who disappeared on Sunday. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Investigators in Pima County say, contrary to some reporting, that they have not identified a suspect or even a person of interest in the case, and that they're talking to anybody who may have had contact with Nancy Guthrie. The Sheriff's Department says detectives are working with the Guthrie family closely and they're talking to family members, but they say no suspect or person of interest has been identified in the case.
Ransom notes were sent to several news outlets demanding Bitcoin transfers. Police are looking into the notes to see if they are legit. Other national stories KSL is following. Officials in Fulton County, Georgia, are filing a motion demanding the return of all 2020 election documents that the FBI seized last week. ABC News investigative reporter Olivia Rubin.
They took 700 boxes of documents, according to Fulton County officials. That includes the actual hardcore ballots from the 2020 election. That includes tabulator tape from the various voting machines. It includes, they say, voter information on the voter rolls that they say contains private, sensitive voter information. So they are asking for a judge to return that material.
County Chairman Rob Pitts says they don't know who has the documents or what's being done with them.
We will fight using all resources against those who seek to take over our elections. Our Constitution itself is at stake in this fight.
Pitt believes that his county is a test case for other actions nationwide ahead of the 2026 midterms and the 2028 elections. First look traffic, let's check in with Tito Nani.
Traffic's still rolling right along on our major valley freeways. No issues to report between Ogden and Provo. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. How do they do that? By working with homeowners, builders, or directly with contractors, combining years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want, or what your client wants, and you know it's not going to be cookie cutter. This is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days, with supplies in stock. Visit the brand new location at 3678 South 7th West Suite 100 to shop and pick up at your convenience with ready stock. Get one step closer to completing your dream renovation. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. We're working to gather details about a shooting in Tooele where one man is dead. KSL News Time, 1236. A Utah lawmaker says it's time for Utah to move forward and allow autonomous shuttles and taxis on our streets. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Utah is falling behind other states. That's according to Representative Matt McPherson, who gave a presentation to the Transportation Subcommittee asking for up to $10 million for a pilot program that would put a fleet of autonomous shuttles and robo-taxis on Utah's roads.
The goal on this pilot is to really have a safe and meaningful system in place by time for the Olympics.
He says the program would be run with the help of UTA and UDOT to give people the transportation options they need, especially when there's big crowds in town. And the hope is it would encourage private companies to bring their own autonomous fleets. He says the program would also help Utahns who can't drive or should not drive because of limitations. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Teens as young as 14 will be allowed to drive in Utah under a new proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill. The bill would allow Utahns to obtain a learner's permit 6 months before they turn 15. Representative Nicolene Peck is sponsoring the bill, and she says parents' participation will be crucial if this bill is passed.
There are specifications for the parents that they would have to have, like, a clean driving record and that kind of stuff, and of course an up-to-date driver's license and those types of things in order to do this.
Peck tells Inside Sources she was inspired to push this legislation after she was approached by a family in her area. We do have some breaking news. The U.S. Supreme Court will allow California to use a new voter-approved congressional map favorable to Democrats in this year's election. It was created in response to Texas lawmakers changing their map to a more Republican-friendly version. This morning, a motorcyclist is in the hospital in critical condition after being involved in a crash at the intersection of 6400 South and Highland Drive. Police tell us the driver of the other vehicle is cooperating with the investigation, but so far police are not sure how last night's crash happened and who is at fault. Police say there were no signs of impairment by either of the drivers. A West Point man will not face murder charges after police say he shot and killed someone who threatened him after a road rage altercation. Justin Doman was reportedly followed and rear-ended by Justin Sicato. When Doman pulled into a parking lot to address the damage, Sicato acted like he had a gun, so Doman shot him. Doman is still facing other related charges. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. What's happening, Tito?
Looks like we have some congestion heading westbound at the intersection of Redwood Road at 114 South and 1500 West in South Jordan. This is due to construction in the area. Plan the perfect President's Day weekend getaway. Ski the Beeve, just 20 minutes from Garden City with easy access and good snow. Make your winter escape simple and close. Visit bearlake.org for more. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, we're looking at temperatures more typical of early to mid-March. How about a high of 55 today? Mostly sunny skies. High pressure right over the state of Utah tomorrow, putting us into the mid and upper 50s, sunshine. Partly cloudy and 57 by Friday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And a lot of sunshine right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 48 degrees. Coming up on Midday, we'll talk to former FBI agent Greg Rogers about the Nancy Guthrie case and what the investigation might look like. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
dozens of students protested outside a job fair at Utah Valley University today after they found out U.S. Customs and Border Protection was one of the employers trying to recruit their classmates. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the man who tried to assassinate the president at his Florida golf course while he was still campaigning has been sentenced to life in prison. Third, traffic and weather together, Tito.
Traffic looks to be in great shape still. No slowdowns or delays to report on any of our our major freeways. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Very mild and quiet conditions with temperatures running 10 to 15 above the normal. I'm Matt Johnson.
And just a few clouds, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court rejecting a bid by California Republicans to block a voter-approved redrawn congressional map.
The Supreme Court did not explain its decision in a single-sentence order, but will allow California's new congressional map to go forward. California Democrats, and specifically Governor Gavin Newsom, pushed the change in the map as a response to Texas and other GOP-led states redrawing their maps and President Trump's urging to give Republicans a better chance at retaining a majority control of Congress. Last year, the Supreme Court declined to block Texas's new map as well. Alex Stone, ABC News.
In Florida, a federal judge sentenced Ryan Ruth to life in prison for the 2024 attempted assassination of Donald Trump at his Florida golf course. The 60-year-old was convicted by a jury last September. Arizona authorities are reviewing evidence after the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie. Police say she was taken from her Tucson home last weekend and are concerned about her health without her medication. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. And as you just heard on ABC News, the search for Nancy Guthrie is getting bigger and more intense. Former FBI agent Greg Rogers joins me now live. Greg, thanks for being with me.
You bet. Always a pleasure.
Describe for us, what does this investigation look like?
Well, when you have potential kidnapping, the main part of the investigation is going to be focused on those people that are calling, and especially if they're seeking a ransom, trying to verify whether those are legitimate individuals or not. Unfortunately, in a national case like this, you'd really be surprised how many, I guess, prank callers is a term, but just callers that are just doing it for fun or trying to get some money, fraudsters. So you really have to weed all those out before you can take any of them seriously.
And the couple of ransom notes that we've heard about apparently asking for Bitcoin. How is Bitcoin going to really complicate the situation?
People think that Bitcoin is untraceable and that it's sort of, a safer way to do it. It's really not as untraceable as people think, but that's what they're thinking. But also, there have been some reports in the national media about ransom notes coming in through big outlets like TMZ. I can assure you that they have to be taken seriously, but they're weeded out pretty quickly. A savvy kidnapper who is trying to protect himself and conceal his identity is not going to a gossip media outlet with his ransom note.
Police being careful with any evidence that they found inside Mrs. Guthrie's home. We know that there was a little bit of DNA, but what kind of evidence is really pivotal for this case?
Well, they're being incredibly careful about that because that's one of the ways that you weed out a serious ransom caller. You can ask them questions about things inside the house, things like what she was wearing, all sorts of things that they're not releasing to the media, that law enforcement's not releasing to the media. It's an easy way to weed out someone to see if they're really serious or not. If they know about certain things that were in the house or, clothes she was wearing, other things like that, that goes a long way in verifying them as being legitimate.
In cases like this, time is just of the essence. So what are your perspectives on how much time has already passed in this case?
In this case, time is absolutely of the essence. She's on all sorts of medication. She's wearing a pacemaker. I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but this is the type of case where time's not on your side. You've got to really be on top of this and get going because her health is tenuous at best.
I'd imagine they're looking at all sorts of house cameras in hopes of finding some indication of what's going on. What else would they be looking at to help find the person responsible?
they'd be doing canvases of the neighborhood also to, any kind. It's always amazing what you can get off not only Ring cameras, but people that have cameras on their home for security that, look out into the street. And so something like that is always very helpful. And, sometimes it's a little bit of luck, but, of course, we'll take luck when we can get it. They're also interviewing more people than you can imagine, friends and family and everybody, trying to find out if there's any recent incidences or anything that would indicate that someone was upset with her, or that someone had been contacting her about something as simple as investments. I mean, anything to find out if there's been some unusual contact, anything that they can do to get a lead on this case. And there are a whole lot of people working 24/7 on this thing because of the time concerns.
Greg, I appreciate your help. Thanks so much for being with me.
You bet. Always a pleasure.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is former FBI agent Greg Rogers. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Here's Tito Nani.
Seeing some congestion due to construction. This is you are heading westbound at the intersection of Redwood Road at 114th South and 1500 West in South Jordan. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has a string of mid and upper 50s all the way through the weekend. 55 today, mostly sunny. Tomorrow, 56, sunshine. Partly cloudy, 57 on Friday. Saturday, 56, mostly sunny. We are at 57 degrees on Super Bowl Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. Changes start moving in on Monday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance for showers, 52 the high. We're down to 46 with more rain chances as we head into Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And rain chances are good. We're going to take any precipitation we can get at this point in time. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, just a few clouds, 48 degrees. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. A quick check of the markets. We've seen some improvement in the NASDAQ, which was down by several hundred points, I should say. It's a lot more dollars than that. Several hundred points just a few minutes ago. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Are you looking to upgrade your home this year? Advanced Window Products is your local window and door manufacturer that sells direct to the public.
That's right, celebrating 40 years serving Utah since 1986. And right now, it's the New Year, New Window Sale. Get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more.
Our windows are made right here in Salt Lake City. Sales and installation are all in-house, meaning no middleman markups. You get the most affordable, high-quality custom windows in the state.
We build it, we install it, and we guarantee it for life.
Every window comes with a lifetime warranty, labor, glass, and parts included, serviced by our local team, and the warranty is transferable to the next homeowner.
Financing is available too. Save now, pay later, with payments as low as $150 a month.
Buy local and support the local economy. Don't wait. Buy 10 windows or more and get $2,500 off. Beat the rush and call today.
Call us at 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit us at advancedwindows.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's Health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Grand Staircase Escalante is under attack. Utah politicians are hastily racing to dismantle protections for this special place, one of America's most treasured national monuments and an important part of southern Utah's economy. An overwhelming majority of Utahns support protecting the Grand Staircase for future generations. Yet our voices are being ignored by those meant to represent us. Now's the moment to speak up. Learn more about this attack and what could permanently be lost at suwa.org. Paid for by Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance.
Valentine's Day is a moment to pause and celebrate the love that fills your life. Duke's Jewelers in Springville believes every love story deserves something timeless, something chosen with intention and given from the heart. This Valentine's season, explore pieces that speak without a single word. Dazzling diamonds that catch the light, rich gold that feels classic and enduring, and colorful gemstones that tell a story all their own. Whether you're marking a first Valentine's together, honoring decades of devotion, or simply wanting to make someone feel cherished, Duke's Jewelers is here to help you find the perfect piece. Duke's Jewelers will guide you with care, offer thoughtful suggestions, and even wrap your gift beautifully so you can enjoy the moment, not stress over it. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Springville Main Street and discover a gift that will be treasured long after February 14th is passed. Because love is worth celebrating in the most meaningful way. Duke's Jewelers. Love elevated.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 12:25. Watching Utah's money, Walmart is the first retailer to reach $1 trillion in market value. Reuters reports the news had shares spike 26%. The stock has gone up 468% over the past decade. Amazon's physical stores are doing extremely well. Revenue has gone up 5.5% in the last year, increasing to $5.9 billion. Amazon owns Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, and Amazon Go. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 295 points, sitting at 49,535. S&P, it's down by 18. The NASDAQ down by 276 points.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform, and guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharger savings at uccu.com. Tito?
No delays or slowdowns to report as we close out the 12 o'clock hour. Good speeds continue throughout I-15, 215, and I-80. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, our nice weather is set to continue at least for the next few days, but it looks like early next week we do have a sign that something may be coming. Looks like our highs are going to stay in the mid-50s until then, and then on Monday the temperature dropping, and we do have a 30% chance of showers both on Monday and Tuesday. Fingers crossed, we definitely need the wet weather. Right now, partly cloudy, 48 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A developing situation in Tooele this hour after police there say they shot and killed a man who approached them with a gun.
As they came to this address, they were confronted with an armed male in his 40s. A shooting did occur. Officers from the Tooele City Police Department fired shots.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, February 4th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live on the scene and will join me to explain how the officer-involved shooting relates to another shooting from overnight. Also this hour, a proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill to lower the driving age and allow parents to be certified driving teachers. The bill's sponsor hoping this will help adult drivers drive better, too.
The parents' driving will improve because now suddenly, when you teach something, you get better at it.
But first, our top stories. A new study on Utah's inmates shows there are several areas where the state is struggling in comparison to the rest of the nation. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Inmates in the state are much less likely to have a high school diploma, according to a report from the Utah Foundation. It found that 35% of those incarcerated in Utah never graduated, while statewide that number is closer to 7%. The survey data also shows when compared to the national average, Utah prisons have a high rate of rearrests and drug use. Researchers say they hope the data can be used to inform future decisions around education, homelessness, and drug use.
The study uses survey data from 2016 with around 25,000 participants in jails and prisons from around the country. Our top national story from ABC News. New information in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today anchor Savannah Guthrie. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
We're now hearing police radio traffic from Sunday as dispatchers alerted all units that Nancy Guthrie was missing.
Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5C medium build.
The audio from Broadcastify. Today, the Pima County Sheriff's Department saying contrary to some reporting that they have not yet identified a suspect or even a person of interest in the case, they say they are talking to anybody who may have had contact with Nancy Guthrie. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 338 points, sitting at 49,579. S&P down by about 13 points, and the NASDAQ down by 283 points. Traffic and weather together, it's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. And here's Tito Nani.
A nice quiet drive so far this afternoon. No delays or slowdowns on any of our major valley freeways. Are you tired of dealing with missing teeth? Are you ready to ditch the dentures? The experts at Stubbs Dental can change your life with dental implants. Get started at stubbsdental.com today. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Headed for a high today of 55 degrees with no chance of rain. The next chance of rain coming on Monday and Tuesday of next week. 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical.
and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
We're continuing to track developing news here on Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. An active crime scene in Tooele this hour after an officer-involved shooting. Police say one man was shot by officers and has since died. We go now live to KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, who is live on the scene. And Eric, what have we just learned?
Maria, so there is police tape up. There's still lights from cop cars everywhere. And there's a small section near 100 North right off Main Street here in Tooele that's blocked off while investigators work. And I can tell you there are also businesses literally feet away from this taped off area. And people here say they heard much of what happened this morning. Police did confirm last night around 11:12, about a mile from here, there's a Quality Quick Stop on North Broadway. There was a man in his 40s who'd been shot multiple times. That man was taken to the hospital, and then police say the shooter took off, and that's what prompted them to ask for the public's help for the past 8 hours or so, finding a person of interest. That's 43-year-old Jason Shaw.
Okay, what do we know about the victim from last night? Do we know his condition?
We don't. They haven't confirmed any of those details beyond what I just said. And, police did say, though, the scene that I'm at right now is tied to their follow-up from last night. So a sergeant told us that officers came to this address looking for someone with information about the shooting from last night. Then they say officers were confronted by an armed man in his 40s. Officers then fired shots, and the man was pronounced dead at the scene.
What do we know about the gun or the weapon police say was presented?
Sure. So those details have not been released at this time. What they did say, though, once again, they can't tie the two together at this time, even though both involve a man in his 40s. I did speak, though, with a couple people working just feet from the tape-off area here outside. They told me they heard what sounded like a standoff between police and that man, and they say it probably lasted about 20 minutes before shots were fired. In other words, police were asking the man to put down the gun, put down the gun. Right now, I can also see investigators interviewing potential witnesses, including people from a nearby tire shop around the corner, but they're behind the tape, so I can't get to them.
All right. Thank you, Eric. That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera reporting live from the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Tooele. We will continue to check in with him throughout the afternoon. Turning now to other local news. Students at Utah Valley University protesting today against federal immigration officials being on campus for a job fair. Dozens of students participated in a kind of sit-in across from the entrance to the job fair, holding signs showing their opposition to federal immigration enforcement. This was in direct response to U.S. Customs and Border Protection being given a spot at the job fair to recruit students.
A lot of people that are here are members of our club, but most people who've showed up I've never seen before. A lot of them are students. We also have people coming in from the community. We work closely with BURN, which is Brave Utahns Rapid Response Network. And they're going to be here, as well as people from Indivisible and various other activism groups here in Utah County and Salt Lake.
Jack McNiven is one of the protest organizers and co-presidents of the Civil Disobedience Club at UVU. He says the appearance of immigration agents at this job fair is inappropriate given the deadly shootings in Minneapolis of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. He says it was encouraging to see how many students showed up, and he says this is what he hopes federal immigration officers take away from seeing them today. Harper McGee is another member of the Civil Disobedience Club.
I think that it would be great if people would boycott the job fair, just because I think that it would send a good message, and I think that it would be a motivating force for the the university, and if they don't, no hate, of course. But I would encourage students to boycott it and just come join us, honestly.
Jack says his group wants a statement from the university saying that they will protect undocumented students.
One of the things that we're hoping to get out of this is a statement from the university that they are committed to protecting our undocumented and immigrant international students, and that ICE will not be allowed on our campus ever again.
In a statement to KSL from UVU's Director of Public Relations, Sharon Turner, she says the recruiting fair is an event that takes place every semester, sponsored by UVU's Career and Internship Center. She says the event right now has more than 70 employers confirmed, and she also says the whole thing is about freedom of speech, saying participating employers have a right to advertise opportunities on campus. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Amanda, I took my daughter with me to see Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was a magical experience. And I say that somewhat jokingly, but it was magical. I watched a woman transform a dress in a second right in front of my own eyes. I got snowed on indoors. Plus, there was all the songs that we both loved.
Yeah, when that ice castle comes out of the floor, I have goosebumps now just thinking about that moment. And the performers, the young girls who sing Elsa and Anna when they're little. I mean, the grown-up ones too, but all of them were just extraordinary.
The Anna that I saw just had this magical pixie-like charm that was so fun to watch. That just everything she said made me laugh.
Have you seen Frozen yet at Hale Center Theater? It runs till when, Andy?
It goes till Valentine's Day.
So you have time.
Yeah, if you didn't catch it during the holiday season, that's okay. It's an extended run. You have a chance to go now.
And if you went before, maybe you want to take your girlfriend or your nieces. Go back and have this magical experience of Frozen.
You can get tickets online, find out which day works best for you at hct.org.
Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
A new proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill would allow teens to get their driver's licenses and permits earlier, putting more 14 and 15-year-olds behind the wheel. Representative Nicolene Peck is sponsoring the proposal and says it came about thanks to the idea of some of her younger constituents.
I actually had a young person bring it to me, and from my area, a constituent's daughter, and then some other parents rallying behind it going, yeah, we think this is a good idea. We had multiple conversations about it. She actually originally had some even other ideas that weren't in the bill that she wanted in it to even make it a little bit more prescriptive. But we took a simple approach to it, and I just love it. I love that a junior high student is like, hey, I want to get involved, and this is something that we've talked about and cared about, and my teacher at school has taught me that I can reach out to my legislator and I can do something about it, and she'll probably listen to me, and I did. And so I said, okay, I'll get this bill going for you. I'll run it for you. And she probably has no idea how hot of a topic this is really going to be, but I'm happy to do it. And I think it's a good conversation. At first I was like, okay, well, I'll run a bill for her. We'll do this. But the more I got into it and the more I started looking into it and data that proves, okay, if the teens actually have their learner's permit longer, they have less accidents and they're actually safer drivers. And as I started pondering on the problem that we have in our society today with a lot of youth having this failure to launch, like they don't want to drive, they don't want to get jobs, they don't want to do adult things. But if you started them just like a little bit sooner, when it's a little bit more exciting to them to take those steps, and that would be good. And then here's the amazing thing is people just come out of the woodwork here at the Capitol. Like even some of the drafting attorneys, they were like, oh, I was raised in Texas and my parents taught me to drive, and that's how they do it there, And then other young people, like, oh yeah, I was from Idaho and I started driving when I was 14 and I got my license when I was 15. And actually, I don't know anybody who had like bad accidents or anything. Like, we were all really safe, and I learned at home from my parents too in Idaho. So it's not like it's super radical. It's just very culturally different than what we're used to here.
She tells Inside Sources that she taught her kids to drive on their own property at a younger age to make sure that they weren't afraid of cars. As for parents in general teaching their kids to drive, her bill includes some safety elements to make sure parents are teaching the correct things. She also believes that by getting parents to think more critically about their own driving and what they are teaching their kids, that will improve their driving attitudes across the state.
They do in the bill have to still be tested at the DLD, just like anyone. They have to take the written and the driving tests at the DLD. So it's not like parents are going to be doing the sign off per se of you can get the license. They're just going to be able to do the training. And then there is a module that they have to watch. It's like a safety module. Here's and that's something that it will be a really great thing that they'll get to do together. I'm actually wondering, honestly, if parents start thinking of themselves as teaching their children driver's ed, if actually the parents' driving will improve, because now suddenly, when you teach something, you get better at it. and so they might actually even get better at it. There are specifications for the parents that they would have to have, like, a clean driving record and that kind of stuff, and of course an up-to-date driver's license and those types of things in order to do this. But they're already the one who's doing a ton of that practice.
Now, a lot of you chimed in on this bill on social media and on the phone lines, with many of you being opposed to the move. On Facebook, Scott wrote, "Some are ready and able at 14 and 15, and some are not. Some 35-year-olds have no business behind the wheel. It's a tough call." Stivoni said, "In farms, under supervision, yes. On roads, no." Tori wrote, "Number 16 is a good enough age. I know they think 16 is a good enough age, and they think that we should adopt a driving policy similar to Germany. They say they've never enjoyed driving as much as they did in Germany because they know how to drive well there. They say it takes a lot to pass the driving test in Germany." Lane said, "In general population, no. The agricultural population, the children driving the fields at 7 and 8 years old have responsibilities that most city children never have." Now, lots of comments and feelings about this bill, so we'll be sure to keep tracking as it moves through the legislative process. Border Czar Tom Homan says 700 federal immigration agencies are now on their way out of Minneapolis. More on that and other changes coming to immigration enforcement there coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Tito?
Still no issues to report so far this hour. I-15, 215, and I-80 are rolling right along at great speeds with no delays throughout the Wasatch Front. Join Ovation Homes Fall in Love with Your Home event February 14th, hosted by KSL Greenhouse Show live in West Point and Waffle Love at Sadie's Glen in Syracuse. Details, visit ovationhomesutah.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking? It's uncomfortable and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film in your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Connecticut removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Border Czar Tom Homan today announcing an immediate drawdown of 700 federal immigration agents from the Minnesota area. At a news conference in Minneapolis, Homan saying the reduction comes as a result of enhanced cooperation between local and state law enforcement and ICE.
During my press conference last week, I reported I had productive discussions with various state and local officials, including Governor, Attorney General, Mayor Frey, and law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear: we all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. And I'll say it again. This is efficient, requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community and arresting that public safety threat.
Now, he said this is being made possible because state and local officials are agreeing to turn over immigrants already under arrest.
More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations. This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers, and safer for the alien. This coordination also makes it far more safe for the Twin Cities. Arresting a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail is the safest thing we could do. Further, less public safety risks are being released back into the communities,
reduces recidivism, so local law enforcement can direct their limited resources to other public safety matters in their community. This is another priority of President Trump. The state prisons already cooperate with ICE on this coordinated transfer of custody, and we thank them for that partnership, and we plan to do more with them. I also want to reiterate and emphasize we are not requiring jails to hold people past their normal release time for immigration purposes. We're not asking anyone to be an immigration officer. We are not asking any state or local official to do immigration enforcement activity. They are not. By merely notifying us before they release them, they don't hold them 1 minute past they normally would. Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement officers to do this work in a safer environment, I have announced effective immediately we will draw down 700 people effective today.
That is Border Czar Tom Homan there. ABC's Matt Rivers is on the ground in Minneapolis, and he says Homan's announcement is quite large.
It is significant. There's no question. It's roughly representing about a third of the agents that have been here. So just to go through the numbers here, at the peak, there was roughly 3,000 federal agents here on the streets of Minneapolis as a part of Operation Metro Surge. At any given time, in a normal time, you'd have roughly 150 federal agents based here in Minneapolis. So that's obviously a huge increase. So 3,000 from the peak. He said that 700 federal agents, a mixture of ICE, Border Patrol, HSI, all the federal agents that are represented here will be leaving, and that it will leave roughly 2,000. So it is a significant drawdown. We haven't had specific numbers like that before. When he gave a press conference last week, he committed to a drawdown, but didn't give any sort of information in terms of what the specifics of that looks like. So it is significant. That said, there's still 2,000 federal agents here where there are normally 150. So the idea that this is completely slowing down or isn't continuing is certainly not true, but 700 agents certainly is significant.
ABC News contributor Brad Garrett says this sounds like the feds will take a similar approach that the Obama administration took.
What I make of that is what occurred the 8 years that President Obama was president, and Mr. Homan was part of that. That targeted enforcement, yes, do you arrest other people when you've gone to a target that are illegal? Yes. But it's all done in a very sort of professional, low-key, and efficient way. In other words, you don't go into the neighborhood and stay for 2 or 3 hours. The other important aspect of this is the idea of having ICE's ability to go to jails, to go to prisons, places where people are being held that are illegal, that are there for criminal violations. If you go back a number of years, there was ICE agents stationed at prisons, and I think still are, and at jails. And so you could do an easy handover of people where, you need 2 people as Mr. Homan instead of 150 people. So it looks like to me they're going back to the traditional way this is being done, which the rest of us applaud because that's really the way you should do it.
Matt Rivers says the agreement between county jails and federal officials is going to be a bit more interesting, with the largest county in the state still saying they will not work with ICE or Border Patrol.
There's been roadblocks. People have tried to get in the way of officers as they've conducted those operations. He said that he spoke to the local police chief and tried to get away from that. One thing, though, I do want to talk about is this agreement concept between county jails that Tom Homan is saying that he wants to get back to, and what Brad was just alluding to. It might make sense to a viewer that, if someone has been arrested, if there's someone who is here undocumented has been arrested, they immediately get turned over to ICE upon their release from jail. Two reasons why that has become an issue in some of the counties, including here in Hennepin County, which is the largest county and has the biggest jail system. Number one, officials say that when the local community, including those who are here undocumented, know that local police officers are working with the federal government, it ends up making it less likely that they'll cooperate with law enforcement. Also, on the other side of that, you have the fact that these people are being kept inside of county jails longer then they are legally allowed to keep them, which puts the costs on the taxpayer. So that's two reasons why county prisons and jail systems have not cooperated with federal agents in the past, and we are not expecting Hennepin County, which is the biggest county here in Minnesota, to cooperate with ICE, even as Tom Homan says that others are.
That is ABC's Matt Rivers reporting from Minneapolis. Homan arrived in the Twin Cities last week and has been working to communicate with local leaders. He says he has more talks later today to discuss the future of immigration enforcement throughout Minnesota. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. 85% of Utahns not confident in the current state of the economy. Their biggest concern may or may not surprise you. A proposal to end a common tax exemption in the state for people who own long-term rentals, and KSL traffic, Tito.
Traffic's still rolling right along throughout the Wasatch Front. No issues to report. Maria?
No issues to report as far as the weather is concerned as well. A chance of rain, though, coming next week. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Border Czar Tom Homan today announcing a drawdown of 700 federal troops in Minnesota following weeks of escalations in the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, shot by federal agents. In an interview with NBC News, President Trump says he ordered the drawdown and was asked about any takeaways from the ongoing federal immigration operations in Minneapolis.
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch. But you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
Roughly 2,000 federal agents remain in the Twin Cities. The White House says it's agreed to move Iran talks from Turkey to Oman after Arab leaders urged the U.S. to hear out Tehran. Tensions are up following a U.S. jet shooting down an Iranian drone near an American aircraft carrier yesterday in the Arabian Sea. The Supreme Court allowing California's redrawn congressional map to move forward ahead of the midterm elections, rejecting state Republican bids to block it. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Utah Valley University students protested outside a job fair on campus today after they found out U.S. Customs and Border Protections was one of the employers trying to recruit students. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from UVU.
This stayed peaceful from the beginning as students sat down in small designated spots right across from the job fair entrance, holding signs showing their disapproval of Customs and Border Protection being in their space.
We aren't okay with what is happening in our government, and we aren't okay with our university platforming that.
Civil Disobedience Club co-president Jack McNiven helped organize the protest. He says they wanted people who were afraid to speak up know that they are not alone.
UVU said in a statement that under their freedom of speech policies, job fair employers have the right to advertise opportunities to students. That includes Customs and Border Protection. Other local stories KSL is following. A Utah lawmaker says the state is falling behind when it comes to allowing autonomous vehicles, and he wants to start a pilot program to put self-driving shuttles and taxis on our roads.
We have family members that can't or maybe in some cases shouldn't be driving. You know, we have issues with fatigue drivers, DUIs, and other situations. And a lot of these issues can be mitigated through this technology as it improves.
Representative Matt McPherson is proposing a pilot program that would be run through UDOT and UTA to lease a fleet of shuttles and robo-taxis. The hope is private companies would then come to the state and add their own self-driving fleets. He wants the system in place before the Utah 2034 Winter Games. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 308 points, sitting at 49,549. S&P down by 22 points, and the NASDAQ is down by 300 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. Here's Tito Nani.
Looks like we have some congestion due to construction. This is if you're heading westbound at the intersection of Redwood Road at 114th South and 17th West in South Jordan. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find a location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you still have some yard cleanup to do, get it done before the weekend ends. It looks like the weather could be changing next week. Looks like we have a 30% chance for showers on Monday and Tuesday. Other than that, our temperatures for the next 5 days staying in the mid-50s. 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Don't miss the Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show coming to the Mountain America Expo Center February 12th through 15th. Hundreds of RVs all in one location. Buy tickets online at UtahRVShow.com.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. New data out today showing a vast majority of Utahns are worried about the economy. But unlike previous data that show people were concerned most with housing, there's a new top concern.
The Deseret News and Hinckley Institute of Politics asked hundreds of Utahns how concerned, if at all, they were with the economy. 85% said they were either somewhat or very concerned. And when they were asked what specifically about the economy they were worried about, 3 out of 4 either said inflation or the cost of housing. Though interestingly enough, housing was not the number one thing people were most concerned about in terms of what prices are being inflated. It was number 2 behind the cost of groceries and other household goods. The cost of health care came in number 3. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Director of the Hinckley Institute, Jason Perry, joins me to explain how suddenly the data shows people are more concerned about grocery prices over things like housing prices.
Well, it says that people are paying attention to some of the bigger issues, but in politics and in life, it comes down to how much it costs to live. That is just one of the realities that we're seeing from this poll. And it wasn't even close. It was 51% of Utahns said this was the number one most concerning issue for them. And it's because I go to the grocery store, and how much does it cost to eat, to buy the milk and the eggs? These are a couple of examples that keep coming up election after election. But no matter how much people say the economy is great, if you can't afford to eat, that's going to be your top concern.
Do we have a previous poll that we can actually compare the current numbers to?
Well, we haven't asked this exact question in the past. Mostly what we've done is we talk about how concerned are you about the things that are sort of underpinning the cost of groceries, like inflation. And going back the last couple election cycles and over the years, it's been over 90% of Utahns are concerned about inflation. This is a question we'll be asking now because the inflation is being felt very much at home.
Mm-hmm. Well, the president has said that was one of his main themes. He was going to fix the economy ASAP. But 85% of Utahns are either very concerned or somewhat still concerned about the economy. Kind of talk about this disconnect.
Well, it's one thing when sort of the national leaders say the economy is great, but you can't feel it in any way that you really care about. That's just the reality. And on this question that we asked about the state of the U.S. economy, this crossed all political ideologies. This was 76% of Republicans, 96% of Democrats, 93% of independents. What they're seeing is everything is more expensive, and saying the economy is great doesn't help that at all. And that's sort of the disconnect we're seeing right now. And this can play out in the election cycle, just like it did in the midterms. When you start talking about the economy being the number one issue, it definitely still is.
Obviously, we can't talk about the economy and not talk about housing. So what did the polling find there?
Well, this is what's interesting for Utahns. When we asked them what was the number one priority, particularly for lawmakers, 32% of Utahns said it was housing, which doesn't really surprise anyone, really, because we're feeling that so much. But for me, the biggest take-home message was the Gen Zs, the younger voting population of the state of Utah. That was the biggest number. 37% of them are most concerned about housing. So you talk about what people care about. It's like you think it's one particular demographic, but even the young up-and-coming voters who are trying to make their way are very, very worried about being able to have a house someday. And that's a political, statistical number that everyone should be thinking about.
Jason, any other key findings that we need to talk about?
We really start looking at the national election cycle and you start talking about what's happening locally. It's important for our elected officials to say, what do people really care about here in the state of Utah? And we know one thing is certain. It's housing, it's groceries, it's health care. These are the issues that Utahns care about the most right now because they can feel it most acutely in their wallets and in their take-home pay. These are instructive for policymakers because Utahns are very much paying close attention.
Jason Perry is the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the University of Utah. You can see the full results of the poll in the Deseret News and at Deseret.com. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Too many rentals and not enough home ownership. That's part of the argument around a new legislative proposal that would essentially raise property taxes on rental property owners by limiting a residential property tax exemption. It's causing a stir for some landlords and tenant groups. Senator Dan McKay is sponsoring the bill, and he tells Inside Sources Utah is one of only a few states that extend primary residence tax exemptions to rental property owners.
From a property tax standpoint, the primary home exemption goes to every home where there is a person that is using the home as their primary residence. It is not focused on use. So, for example, short-term rentals do not qualify as for getting the residential exemption because it isn't someone's primary home. But a long-term rental, which is, if I remember right, it's 60 days or longer, does qualify for the residential exemption. And so that's the universe of everybody getting it. But we are one of only, so 48 states have a residential exemption where basically everyone gets a discount on their property tax because of this residential exemption for primary homes. Very popular policy. But we're the only state in the country that extends that exemption to rental units. And we've created an environment where we've got a tax incentive for acquiring and operating rentals. And my question for my colleagues and for the state is, should we continue to have a policy where our housing, our constraints are, increasing for housing, and we aren't able to meet demand? Should we continue to have a tax incentive for rentals that encourages our children and the next generation to rent instead of own? And I'm in this for the next generation as much as I am the current generation, and I think it's right to ask this policy. The other thing that frequently is misunderstood about property tax is that if this residential exemption changes and it only it didn't cover rentals or apartments or those kinds of things anymore, single family owner occupied homes will see a reduction in their property tax as a result of this change. And so that is the number one thing I hear from my constituents all the time, is they're extremely frustrated about property tax and its cost and how hard it is, and the fact that they feel like they're renting their property from the government. I hear that from a lot of people. And so this is a response to, should we address that tax, that policy incentive for rentals, one, and two, is there a way to lower everyone's property tax that only has one home?
Senator McKay says this wouldn't result in a revenue change for the state, but would simply shift the tax burden. So how are rental advocacy groups responding to his proposal? Paul Smith with the Rental Housing Association of Utah says he's not a fan.
Well, I appreciate Senator McKay, and he's a great guy. I also appreciated at the end of his comments, he said this wouldn't increase any revenue. It would just shift the tax burden from the homeowners to the renters. And let's just clarify, there 68% of Utah households own, 32% rent. They rent because they can't afford to own in many cases. We're going to make it even harder for them and give them even more disadvantage. There's already enough incentives for homeownership. This is just a really bad idea.
Smith says there's so much focus on home ownership right now that it's leaving nearly 1/3 of the population in the dust. He says people who choose to rent often do so because they can't afford to buy, even if they really, really tried hard.
So many incentives for home ownership. There's already so many government grants, and we don't spend enough money on our renters. And remember, the 32% of households that rent, some do it by choice. Most of them do it out of necessity. They are the lower socioeconomic classes. And frankly, I'm proud of Utah that we give them a break by reducing the tax on all residential properties that are being used by someone as their primary residence, and not just ones that are by people who already own a home.
He says in general, the cost for home ownership is high, but so is the cost for home rentalship.
All over the state, we have costs going up. We have renters paying more than they can afford. So it's not just a Salt Lake County problem. It really is all over the state. Particularly southern Utah is another area where there's just simply not enough rentals, and costs have just increased dramatically in the last 5 to 10 years.
Smith says that as the bill currently stands, he hopes it will be used more as a bargaining chip for other legislation and not continue as Senator McKay proposes. With millions set to tune in for the big game this weekend, many say they only watch for the ads. So we'll get a quick preview of those ads coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. Tito?
Valley freeways still appear to be in great shape. However, we do have some congestion in Tooele County. It's on Main Street SR 36 at the intersection at 10th North. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Joy. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Join KSL News Radio and the movie show this Friday from 10 to 1 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road in Salt Lake City. That is npsstore.com.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
You know, it's frustrating. It really is. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn around and they waste your money. Americans are getting fed up, rightfully so. And that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with a free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. Call today, 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Ready for your next vehicle? At Performance Automotive in Bountiful, your new Ford, Toyota, or Honda is here. Built for Utah communities, canyon weekends, and everything in between. Choose capability with Ford, long-lasting reliability with Toyota, or smooth efficiency with Honda. Backed by friendly experts and financing options that fit your budget. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda for your test drive. Browse inventory, check pricing, and schedule your visit at performancebountiful.com. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, driven to be the best.
Jeff Kaplan here. You need your house painted and you want it done at the right price. So I want to suggest you get a quote from the professionals at CertaPro Painters. It's not just a coat of paint, it's your home. That's why from the estimate to the cleanup, they're going to work to exceed your expectations. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. They're committed to quality at the right price. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The big game is just around the corner. The Seattle Seahawks take on the New England Patriots on Sunday. Many people love the commercials. In fact, there are a lot of people who watch the Super Bowl just for the commercials. Well, what about you? Will you watch the game itself or just the ads? Text me your thoughts at 57500. Okay, back to the commercials. Several of the ads have already started previewing on YouTube. With a preview of some of the most expensive ads of the entire year, here's America in the Morning's Kevin Carr.
While plenty of football fans will watch the Seahawks take on the Patriots on Sunday, there is always a significant number of people who watch the Super Bowl for the ads. With 30-second spots going as high as $10 million, advertisers are taking every opportunity for their commercials to be seen, and that means releasing some early on YouTube. Longtime advertiser Budweiser has a series of commercials featuring Peyton Manning and Post Malone at a wedding.
What's that? First beer of the wedding. Is there enough for everyone?
Kurt Russell stars in an ad for Michelob Ultra as a mysterious ski coach.
Tired of always buying the Ultras, Gregory? Meet me at the Blue Lift.
Many of these celebrities will bring humor to the commercials, like William Shatner for Raisin Bran.
Will Shat here, bringing fiber to the masses with Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
And some musical entries with Ben Stiller and Benson Boone bringing back Eurodisco for Instacart.
Instacart lets you choose your bananas. Get them just how you like.
Another musical ad features Andy Samberg with a Neil Diamond tribute for Hellman's.
Sweet sandwich time.
Some clips available online now are just teasers for the actual ads on Sunday, like Lady Gaga for Rocket.
Mr. Rogers
was so clearly someone that stood for something.
Adrian Brody for TurboTax.
I can handle that for you. I can handle that. I can handle that.
And Ben Affleck and Friends with another series of ads for Dunkin'.
Hear me out. What's hot now? Cringe. I have monster cringe.
No one can see this.
I'm Kevin Carr.
Okay, so what do you think? Will you watch the game or just the ads? Remember, you can text me at 57500. Those who want to toss a coin into Rome's iconic Trevi Fountain to wish for love will now have to pay to do so. The fountain is popular with tourists because of the number of famous movies filmed at the spot, because it is the essence of Rome's beauty and charm. Start Here host Brad Milkey has details.
In the famous Italian film La Dolce Vita by Fellini, a tabloid journalist finds himself with a glitzy movie star wading into the Trevi Fountain.
Marcello, come here.
These days, I'm not sure what's less realistic, reporters being adored by the rich and famous, or the fact that at the Trevi Fountain, there's no one in sight. Over the years, the Trevi Fountain has become one of Rome's most iconic tourist attractions. Its gigantic marble facade, showing Oceanus taming its blue water. It's a magnet for visitors who say if you turn your back and throw a coin into the Trevi, you'll one day be guaranteed a return trip to Rome. Well, yesterday, the city of Rome instituted a new rule. Visitors to the Trevi Fountain must pay an entrance fee. That's right, it now costs €2 just for the right to toss in more money.
I mean, I think tourists have to pay for everything anyway, so it's a lot better than it was yesterday. It was very packed, so I think it's okay.
Yesterday, they started trotting out this plan in which barriers are erected from the morning hours until 10 p.m. Visitors can pay the fee with cash, card, or online before bounding down the stairs toward the fountain. Once they're there, they can stay as long as they like, and if you're a Rome resident, it's free. By and large, tourists said yesterday that they understood what Rome was trying to do here. The absolute crush of guests puts a strain on the entire area. Maintenance and crowd control don't come cheap, plus all these crowds come with pickpockets. Authorities say they actually have fewer criminals roaming around them now in this controlled area. But other tourists weren't so happy. Some said charging for access to such a public place was a kind of Roman blasphemy. And as the day went on, some came to a realization it's possible to throw coins all the way from outside the barriers into the fountain. Soon you had people on top of these steps turning around and launching coins down into the gallery below. Tourists who had paid were now ducking out of the way. It makes you wonder if somewhere local authorities who hatched these plans are now saying the same thing as Marcello as he wades into that fountain.
Stiamo sbagliando tutti.
I'm making a mistake, he says. We're all making a mistake.
ABC's Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast. Let's talk about robotic snowblowers. Now, you may be thinking, a snowblower, for what snow? Well, we may be desperately in need of snow here. Much of the country, however, is inundated with snow, and they have been for the past few weeks. In this Tech Trends report, reporter ABC's Mike Dubusky takes a closer look at a little robot whose whole goal is to keep you from slipping on the ice, throwing out your back, and yelling a few expletives next time your driveway gets covered in snow.
It's been a rough winter for a lot of us.
We could put down more than a foot of snow, incredible snows.
And in a lot of places, people might be thinking hard about getting some robotic help the next time a snowstorm spins up.
Yarbo is the world's first modular autonomous yard robot.
Co-founder Kenneth Coleman says the company started with snow in mind.
The snowblower was in development since 2015.
Yarbo's core looks like a small tank and drives everything. Then you can hook up attachments like a snowblower. And Coleman says they've learned a lot about how to make it run on its own.
Controlling the direction of the chute, working in dry and wet snow, controlling the angle of how high you're going to shoot the snow. How do you get snow from one end of your driveway to the other corner, not just one side to the next?
Other attachments include lawnmowers, a leaf blower, and even one that can let it patrol your yard like a security guard. The snowblower bundle starts at $5,000.
Just a sec ago, we were talking about Super Bowl ads and whether you watch the game or whether you watch for the ads. Executive producer Andy Cupp has joined me. How about you? What do you do?
Mostly for the ads. I will watch the game depending on who's playing, but I grew up in Northern California, so I am a 49ers fan. So they're not playing, so I probably won't watch anything except for the ads.
Yeah, I'm going to say it depends on the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get bored. And then
This
I'm
is
just
true.
eating all the snacks, which is not a good thing. Our listeners did chime in. One says they watch the Super Bowl for the ads, and they have their own grading system, and they rank them according to their system. They say, that's a lot of fun.
I think
I
that's
need to
pretty
try
legit.
that.
Yeah.
Next said, I don't understand football, but I like to watch the ads and the halftime show.
That's
I
fair.
understand football, and I still think I'm with them. I think I enjoy the ads and the halftime show and the food more.
Yeah, we'll see what I do on Sunday, but I'll watch all that on Monday, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Miners in Utah's coal country evacuated earlier this morning due to flooding.
No one's hurt and everyone is accounted for, but workers at Skyline Mine in Carbon County are trying to cope with serious flooding today.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, February 4th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, what's the owner of the mine saying about the flooding? KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson will join me for that update shortly. Also this hour, a haze is beginning to settle in again across the Wasatch Front, but new data showing that air quality is improving year over year despite major population growth.
Really, it's a focus on the efforts we've taken over not just the past 25 years, but really the past 50 years to address air pollution here along the Wasatch Front and statewide.
But first, our top stories. Teens as young as 14 would be allowed to drive in Utah under a new proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill. The bill would allow Utahns to obtain a learner's permit 6 months before they turn 15. Representative Nicolene Peck is sponsoring the bill. She says parents' participation will be crucial if this bill is passed.
There are specifications for the parents that they would have to have, like, a clean driving record and that kind of stuff, and of course an up-to-date driver's license and those types of things in order to do this.
Peck tells Inside Sources she was inspired to push this legislation after she was approached by a family in her area. Our top national story from ABC News. After Borders Czar Tom Homan announced an immediate drawdown of 700 federal immigration agency agents from the Minnesota area today, he said the reduction was made possible by state and local officials turning over immigrants already under arrest. President Trump spoke about it today.
President Trump tells NBC News that he was the one who ordered the drawdown of 700 federal agents from Minnesota. The president saying he only did it because the federal government has seen more cooperation from state and local officials. Asked what he's learned from the ongoing immigration operations in Minneapolis, President Trump said, quote, that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but he added, quote, you still have to be tough. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Other national stories KSL is following. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a bid by California Republicans to block a newly redrawn congressional map backed by Democrats and endorsed by voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections.
The Supreme Court did not explain its decision in a single-sentence order, but will allow California's new congressional map to go forward. California Democrats, and specifically Governor Gavin Newsom, pushed the change in the map as a response to Texas and other GOP-led states redrawing their maps at President Trump's urging to give Republicans a better chance at retaining majority control of Congress. Last year, the Supreme Court declined to block Texas's new map as well. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow up by 260 points, sitting at 49,500. S&P down by 35, and the NASDAQ down by 350 points. That's about 1.5%. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. Tito?
Valley freeways still appear to be in great shape throughout the Wasatch Front, but it does look like we have some congestion to Willa County. It's on Main Street between 10th and 20th North. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another day of highs in the 50s, and those highs in the 50s they'll run all the way through Sunday, but then we do have a chance of rain on Monday and Tuesday, a 30% chance of showers. 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are continuing to follow a situation right now in Carbon County where we've learned a mine in the Schofield area has flooded. Joining me now in the studio is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. And Heather, I understand that you just got a statement from the owners of the Skyline Mine, and what did they have to say?
So this is from the Canyon Fuel Company, and they're the owners and operators of Skyline Mine, which is about 30 miles northwest of Price. And they said that work in the affected area was stopped immediately when they started noticing this flooding late last week. All employees were able to exit without incident or danger. They have engineering and mine safety teams actively managing the situation, and those experts are gathering information and trying to figure out the specific source and just how extensive this flooding is. They also wanted to reiterate that the safety of their employees is their top priority, and they're currently securing the area and trying to assess, the damage and the situation.
But they don't say anything about when the mine might reopen.
Nope. They said that this is still an ongoing situation, and they're still just assessing and trying to figure it out.
Good to know that everyone was okay. When did they evacuate?
Yeah, so again, this happened late last week, and as soon as they noticed it, they started evacuating everyone. They said everyone was accounted for. There were no injuries, so good news there.
Okay, so they're looking for the source of this water, but this isn't the first time this has happened at this mine.
Yeah, that's right. We have an environmental report from 2017 that talks about how in the early 2000s they actually hit a significant fault line when they were mining in that area. And this is an underground mine. They mine for coal. They put out about 4 million tons of coal every year. And so when they were mining, they hit a fault and groundwater started rushing in. And it took them quite a bit of time, a couple years to kind of manage this. They would have to pump out between 2,000 and 4,000 gallons per minute to continue mining operations in this area. Yeah. So a lot of water, and parts of it sounds like they would continue they let certain areas just continue to be pooled and flooded while they mined in other areas. So, yeah, all that to say, sounds like groundwater flooding is not a new concept in this area. Obviously, it was a different area, a different part of the mine. I mean, it's a pretty extensive underground operation where this happened, but yeah, that's not
All
new
right.
for Skyline.
Thank you so much. That is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson in the studio. In Utah, an increasing population doesn't necessarily mean dirtier air. That's according to a new study reviewed by the state legislature. Sounds like good news, but I wanted to know why. I'm joined by Bryce Bird, director of Utah's Air Quality Division, to find out what drove this improving air quality.
Really, it's a focus on the efforts we've taken over not just the past 25 years, but really the past 50 years to address air pollution here along the Wasatch Front and statewide. Things like cleaner vehicles with newer technology, focus on industrial controls was a big part of that. And then a number of rulemaking activities to bring cleaner products like better water heaters with fewer emissions, better consumer products with fewer emissions. And again, just that focus on public transportation. Tier 3 gasoline was a very big part of that as well, getting the vehicles to operate cleaner. And whole list of activities, really building on an overall effort to focus on what was causing the air pollution and make those adjustments to allow us to have a growing economy, but do it with fewer air pollution emissions.
Describe why it is important to really separate population growth from increasing pollution, especially when this is the case.
Really, it is identifying what the sources of air pollution were. I'll also mention wood burning was a major component of air pollution as we started the process to address the PM 2.5 standard, the fine particulates that impact us during the winter inversion periods. Just identifying what all the sources of those air pollutants are, and then making small corrections to reduce those emissions while we grow, so that we didn't have worse air quality in our future rather than better.
Yeah, this time of year especially, people are always concerned about the air quality when we get stuck in inversions. Give us an idea of what our air quality is like right now.
So as we've monitored over time, we still have inversions. We still have days where we see the visible impairment of the air. We also have days where we still approach or exceed EPA's health standards. That's just a challenge that we have here along the Wasatch Front, especially in the mountain valleys that trap air pollution. But as we look back at the data over the past, we've seen every decade improving air quality. So as we looked in the 40s and 50s when we had predominantly heated our homes with coal, of course, vehicles had no emissions controls on those, and the fueling those vehicles was also dirty compared to what we have today. So each decade we've seen improvements with technology that have allowed us to add more people, add more vehicles, add more businesses, but do it with fewer air pollutant emissions that ultimately impact or improve our health over time.
Given our challenges with the valley we live in, what are some of your recommendations to lawmakers of things we can still do to improve air quality?
Yeah, still identifying things that can improve. Some actual legislation this year is one of them is looking at encouraging older, especially heavy-duty diesel vehicles to move to newer technology. With over time, the engineering and the ability to create those vehicles has improved, and with the emissions controls on there as well. So we've seen that for passenger vehicles, a pre-2017 vehicle was about 10 times dirtier than a post-2017 vehicle when used with the cleaner gasoline that allows the emissions controls to work better. Same with on the heavy-duty diesels. We've seen cleaner, so lower sulfur in the fuel, so less particles are formed when they go down the road, and then post-combustion technology to capture and clean those emissions as well. So it really is the adoption of good engineering practices, kind of looking at what can be done, putting those in place, and then seeing that they are effective at doing the work that we need to get done.
All right. It sounds like still the focus on cars, though. Are there some other areas we need to focus on as far as like industry and things like that?
There are. So in particular, kind of looking at what opportunities are still out there. we see that the use of paints and solvents, so solvents from manufacturing operations as well as gasoline vapors, are still an important part of the precursors that form both winter air pollution and summer ozone as well. And so we've seen opportunities to improve the technology for gasoline storage tanks. And so to be clear, that they're already controlled. They have floating roofs that are covering the top of the tank, and then have seals on the side that keep those materials in place. But by moving to a domed tank over the top of that, it captures those emissions that would otherwise leak past the seals. And also, as wind blows across the top of those tanks that are with a floating roof but no dome over the top, it creates a low pressure and actually draws more vapors out. And so that's one that could, over time, with the adoption of newer technology, reduce emissions by over 1,000 tons per year from those gasoline storage tanks. A couple of others really focused on is also gasoline dispensing, just those few drips that come out when we top off the tank or move the nozzle from the tank back to the dispensing pump. There's new technology to reduce those drips. Both the permeability of the hoses and then the dripless nozzles is another technology we're looking at. And then finally, the use of small lawn and garden equipment. So the gas storage associated with lawnmowers, string trimmers, weed eaters. So not only are those engines very polluting because they don't have any emissions controls on them, but the storage and the leaking of those is also another component of the inventory that's important for us to find a way to address to reduce those air pollutant emissions that are responsible for both wintertime and summertime air pollution.
Anything else we should add for folks?
So another thing is just the use of that small lawn and garden equipment. Actually, we have incentives that have been provided by the legislature and by the federal government to help people change those out. And so we have a current incentive program open for businesses that use lawn and garden equipment. And starting next month, we'll have it available for individuals to be able to change out a two-stroke piece of lawn and garden equipment to an electric option and receive an incentive to help with that. And you can find that on our website at airquality.utah.gov and look for those announcements as those opportunities to change out that equipment becomes available.
Bryce Bird is the director of the Air Quality Division within the Utah Department of Environmental Quality. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
A new report on incarcerated Utahns shows that they are far less likely to have a high school education than the rest of the state and are also more likely to struggle with drug use than those in other states. The Utah Foundation report is based on a survey of the prison population. Research analyst Ashley Marshall-Cantor says the data gives us a better look at what the prison population looks like.
They surveyed nearly 25,000 individuals across the country, and the Utah subsection that we analyzed for this report is quite small. And so I do just want to add that caveat that we should use some caution when using this to determine whether Utah is actually different from other states, because it could be a statistical figment from a relatively small sample size. But it is some really cool data where we talk about like age of arrest, age of first arrest, how many times these individuals had been previously incarcerated, kind of what their life circumstances looked like too.
Marshall Cantor tells KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis 39% of Utah's inmates do not have a diploma compared to only 9% of other Utahns.
Education is one that really stands out to me. We found that the incarcerated Utahns were far less likely to have graduated from high school than the general Utah population. About 39% of the incarcerated individuals did not have a diploma, compared to only 9% of Utahns, according to the Utah System of Higher Education that same year. We also saw that when we look at homelessness, there was a couple different points in time that were measured. And so when we look at the individuals who were homeless the year prior and 30 days prior to incarceration, that was much higher than the nation. We rank pretty high. The year prior to incarceration, 17% of Utah inmates experienced homelessness, and the national average was 13%. So Utah's 10th in the nation for the share of inmates who experienced homelessness in the year prior to incarceration. But a key takeaway here is that Utah ranked low for the share of inmates who had experienced homelessness as youth, so about 7% compared to 12% nationally.
Marshall Cantor says the numbers highlight the need for the state to help inmates get a GED and other job training so they won't be as likely to end up in prison again. She says the data is also interesting when it comes to what inmates revealed about their drug usage.
The survey asked about if the individuals had ever used drugs, if they had used drugs 30 days prior to incarceration, and then when they were being arrested. And when Utah inmates were talking about the lifetime usage, 93% reported ever using drugs. So that put Utah 9th in the nation for that metric. And then when they talked about the drug usage 30 days prior to incarceration, 76% said that they had used, compared to 63% nationally. So that puts Utah at higher than any of the other mountain states and third highest in the nation.
She says a key finding from the report is that at the time of arrest, Utah inmates had some of the highest use of drugs in the nation. She says that accounted for the different types of crimes that they were incarcerated for, including drug trafficking. She says the foundation will soon release its report on what Utah can do to prevent recidivism.
Because when we look at the individuals that took the survey, 5 and 6 of the prisoners had been previously incarcerated at least once, and 2 of those 6 had been incarcerated more than 5 times before their current incarceration. And so that seems to paint our recidivism rate as super high, but it doesn't capture all those that had been incarcerated once and then never returned to prison. Those are just those folks that are currently in prison when the survey was administered.
Marshall Cantor says those numbers are important because Utah has a larger share of criminals who are rearrested when they are on probation or parole.
We'd also love to see expanding access to stable housing, addressing substance use more effectively, and re-examining community supervision practices that contribute to that reincarceration. And it's tricky because all of these things, add on to each other. And so, without stable housing, it's tricky to address all of those other things without substance use, rehabilitation, they all compound onto each other.
And that is Utah Foundation research analyst Ashley Cantor. She says she hopes this report can help lawmakers make future legislative decisions. Coming up later on Midday, we'll get an update on the search for NBC Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's missing mother. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU's Supercharger savings at uccu.com. Tito?
Appears we have some congestion if you're heading westbound just before the intersection of Redwood Road at 114th South and 17th West in South Jordan. This is due to ongoing construction in the area. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you, unless we're Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth two in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
Thursday on KSL.
On the face of it, it's a harmless prank.
Doorbell ditching, a game that generations of children played, has taken a frightening turn.
All you could see was a hoodie and a mask.
The KSL investigators set out to understand why a once silly prank
It looked like a handgun. He just firing it at us.
seems to be more dangerous today.
You don't know whose door you're going to go knock on or pound on.
Ding Dong Danger, Thursday at 10.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me, I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A new master plan for Salt Lake City's northwest side will focus on making the area more desirable to live, work, and play. People on the west side of the city say their area has been underserved and they welcome the new Northwest Community Plan.
I definitely will say that the west side historically has been underserved and, has faced a number of disparities when it comes to, transit, to green spaces, to restaurants and bars and, the third places you might call them. So I think that most people here would say, yeah, we have not received the kind of level of attention that we would like, but I don't know that we're specifically focused on like the last time that there was a master plan drawn up or anything like that.
Daniel Strong with the West Side Coalition credits the city planning for engaging the community in the planning process and says there should be a focus on housing for all levels of income.
We were pretty impressed with the level of community engagement that had been done, and we really, I think, felt heard on most of the priorities of the West Side, which are just that we want this area to be a place that people want to live, work, and play, and we want there to be, the same amenities you see throughout the rest of the city for those people who live here, and also for hopefully more new neighbors who want to move here.
Strong tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi that he's not sure where the plan will go from here, but he's optimistic about the direction it's taking.
We were more focused on kind of what's in it. Is the plan represent our values well? Does it represent the things we want to see focused on as the city, uses its various incentive structures and other things to drive development in this area? And again, I think the consensus among our coalition was that it did do a pretty good job of reflecting those values.
He says the community's goal is to bring in more businesses to the area and to allow for mixed-use housing, and he says this plan is a good start.
Well, it's a long plan, and, I guess if we went item by item of all my priorities, are they all in this plan? I'm not sure. But, we look through the document and, the things that focused on, like housing, for example, it talked about one of its guiding principles was there should be housing for all levels of income in our area, and I think that's really true. We've seen a lot of studios and single bedroom apartments go up along the North Temple corridor, and that hasn't really brought the level of economic development that we would hope to see with more housing. And so one of the things we hear a lot in our community is, well, we need, this needs to be not just studios or lower income apartments, but also include places that, families might want to live. And that's the type of thing that really builds a neighborhood. So, just focusing on that one example, I think that conversation was well reflected in this document. And there were a lot of things like that when it comes to transit and east-west connectivity. And, I think that the issues are well reflected. Of course, we want to see action follow that, but the priorities and goals seemed to be in line with what we hear in our neighborhoods.
The draft plan was tabled to allow more time for input, so it's not clear when it could go before the city council. But Strong says he's excited to see neighborhoods like Rose Park, Jordan Meadows, and Fair Park acknowledged.
The West Side is really a great place to live and to work, and I think it sometimes gets a bad rap, and we focus on all the negatives. I'll just say that these are great neighborhoods, great people who live in these neighborhoods. We do have issues, but those issues tend to come from outside and things sort of being done to us, but the people who live here really love and support each other and love our communities, and we want to see them strengthened. We're excited to see more attention being focused on them lately.
Daniel Strong is with the West Side Coalition. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The search for the missing mother of NBC Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie intensifying as alleged ransom notes begin appearing. The organizers behind the 2034 Winter Games speaking to the International Olympic Committee for the first time since securing the Games. And KSL traffic, Tito.
All of our major valley freeways look to be in great shape. No delays or slowdowns to report. Maria?
Staying in the hot with highs in the 50s for the next few days. A big change, though, is coming.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump taking credit for the drawdown of the 700 federal agents in Minneapolis and St. Paul, saying he gave the order for border czar Tom Homan to scale back the number of agents for immigration operations. It comes after federal agents shot and killed Alex Preddy and Renee Good. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Minneapolis, where remaining agents are being outfitted with body cameras.
What Homan talked about this morning was that some of the agents here already have body cameras, some didn't, and when he arrived, he thought that disparity was strange and that some of the agents themselves were asking for body-worn cameras. So I think you can expect those cameras to be deployed very, very quickly.
Governor Tim Walz says the drawdown is a start, but says the operation needs to end. Talks on a nuclear deal between Iran and the U.S. will continue, and negotiations shift to Oman from Turkey. In Arizona, the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie, continues. Police say she was kidnapped from her Tucson home, and authorities are trying to determine if alleged ransom notes are real. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Students at Utah Valley University gathered to protest federal immigration officials on campus today as one federal agency set up shop at the campus job fair. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there.
Dozens of students all peacefully sat down across from the entrance to the job fair, holding signs showing their opposition to federal immigration enforcement. This was in direct response to U.S. Customs and Border Protection being given a spot at the job fair to recruit students.
Less than, 2 weeks ago, Alex Preddy was shot by Customs and Border Protection agents. The timing could not be worse.
Jack McNiven is one of the protest organizers and co-presidents of the Civil Disobedience Club at UVU. He says it was encouraging to see how many students showed up, and he says this is what he hopes federal immigration officers take away from seeing them all today.
No matter how much violence they commit against the American people will stand up and will stand together.
In a statement, UVU says they do job fairs like this every year, and participating employers have the right to advertise under their freedom of speech policies. At UVU, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. A new report on incarcerated Utahns shows they are far less likely to have a high school education than the rest of the state and are more likely to struggle with drug use. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The report from the Utah Foundation shows 39% of Utah's inmates do not have a diploma when compared to only 9% of the state's general population. The report also found Utah inmates use more drugs than inmates in other states. Research analyst Ashley Cantor says she hopes this data can help make future legislation decisions.
We'd also love to see expanding access to stable housing, addressing substance use more effectively, and re-examining community supervision practices that contribute to that reincarceration.
The report uses data from 2016, and Canto is quick to point out the small sample size. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow is up by 260 points, ending at 49,501. S&P down by 35. The Nasdaq down 1.5%, down 350 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. Tito?
No issues. Traffic still rolling right along on all of our major valley freeways, I-15, 215, and I-80, all in perfect shape. Whether you park it, stripe it, or pave it, GoPave Utah has your blacktop covered at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
The updated 7-day forecast shows there could be a bit of a change next week. Early in the week, a 30% chance of showers on Monday and Tuesday. Until then, just a few clouds and highs in the mid-50s, up at near 60 on Sunday. Right now, 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. How do they do that? By working with homeowners, builders, or directly with contractors, combining years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want, or what your client wants, and you know it's not going to be cookie cutter. This is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days, with supplies in stock. Visit the brand new location at 3678 South 7th West Suite 100 to shop and pick up at your convenience with ready stock. Get one step closer to completing your dream renovation. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. New information in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today anchor Savannah Guthrie. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
We're now hearing police radio traffic from Sunday as dispatchers alerted all units that Nancy Guthrie was missing.
Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5C medium build.
The audio from Broadcastify. Today, the Pima County Sheriff's Department saying contrary to some reporting that they have not yet identified a suspect or even a person of interest in the case, they say they are talking to anybody who may have had contact with Nancy Guthrie. Alex Stone, ABC News.
With more on the investigation and how we've gotten to this point, here's ABC's Trevor Alt on the Start Here podcast.
It, of course, starts as an alarming one. First, you have an 84-year-old who is missing, and that is your traditional missing persons report. But then it very quickly turns into what has become a heart-wrenching story. So we first learned of this on Sunday, where Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie. What we're told is she was last seen Saturday night by Savannah's siblings at her home. She lives alone in the suburbs of Tucson. This is deep in the desert, basically. Imagine the suburbs, but surrounded by cacti, desert wildlife. That's Saturday night. Sunday morning, she doesn't show up at church. Her friends notice. They contact the family and say, hey, we didn't see her this morning. The family goes to the house, and they search for her for a good hour, and they don't find her, so they call 911. Now, this is certainly not the first time an 84-year-old has gone missing, Brett, as you point out. Right. And often is the case, sometimes they can just wander off. What made this unique from the jump publicly is that they stressed Nancy Guthrie is very sharp cognitively, and while she does have some ailments, they are physical ailments, to the point that they said from the beginning, Nancy Guthrie couldn't walk 50 yards on her own, so she did not just walk out of her house.
She did not leave on her own. We know that.
And then as the investigation progresses, there's a major search effort all around the surrounding area around the house. That all comes up empty. And then it gets to the point where the sheriff says explicitly, we believe that someone against her will took her out of her house in the middle of the night, and now we don't know where she is.
We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene.
That was several days ago now. We've had this massive search effort. There has been this giant outcry for tips. They say they are relying on the public.
We make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us.
And they say they've received hundreds of tips, but as of now, they still have no idea where Nancy Guthrie is.
What about ransom notes? There could be a few, but the Pima County Sheriff's Department is holding that information close to the vest.
One journalist asked, have you received a ransom note or a ransom demand? And the sheriff, notably, he didn't say no, he didn't say yes. He said, we're following up on all leads, which of course begs the question, well, why aren't you answering it directly? You're not denying it. So I then asked the follow-up question. You were asked if there was any ransom, and you didn't say no. You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We're following all leads we have. That's all I can tell you.
And even since then, there have been some people publicly who have said, I received an email that appears to potentially be a ransom note. I've forwarded it to law enforcement. The Sheriff's Department is saying through it all, we're investigating all leads at this time. Now, it doesn't mean that if there are ransom notes, that they are legitimate. There's also the possibility of a very famous person is missing. They're asking for information from the public. There are bad actors who see that as an opportunity to try to get a free payday.
That is ABC's Trevor Alt reporting. As the search for Nancy Guthrie grows and becomes more intense, it had me wondering what this kind of investigation would look like. We're not talking about a child being kidnapped. We're talking about an adult. I asked former FBI agent Greg Rogers to explain.
Well, when you have potential kidnapping, the main part of the investigation is going to be focused on those people that are calling, and especially if they're seeking a ransom, trying to verify whether those are legitimate individuals or not. Unfortunately, in a national case like this, you'd really be surprised how many, I guess, prank callers is a term, but just callers that are just doing it for fun or trying to get some money, fraudsters. So you really have to weed all those out before you can take any of them seriously.
And a couple of ransom notes that we've heard about apparently asking for Bitcoin. How is Bitcoin going to really complicate the situation?
People think that Bitcoin is untraceable and that it's sort of, a safer way to do it. It's really not as untraceable as people think, but that's what they're thinking. But also, there have been some reports in the national media about ransom notes coming in through big outlets like TMZ. I can assure you that they have to be taken seriously, but they're weeded out pretty quickly. A savvy kidnapper who is trying to protect himself and conceal his identity is not going to a gossip media outlet with his ransom note.
Police being careful with any evidence that they found inside Mrs. Guthrie's home. We know that there was a little bit of DNA, but what kind of evidence is really pivotal for this case?
Well, they're being incredibly careful about that because that's one of the ways that you weed out a serious ransom caller. You can ask them questions about things inside the house, things like what she was wearing, all sorts of things that they're not releasing to the media, that law enforcement's not releasing to the media. It's an easy way to weed out someone to see if they're really serious or not. If they know about certain things that were in the house or, clothes she was wearing, other things like that, that goes a long way in verifying them as being legitimate.
In cases like this, time is just of the essence. So what are your perspectives on how much time has already passed in this case?
In this case, time is absolutely of the essence. She's on all sorts of medication. She's wearing a pacemaker. I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but this is the type of case where time's not on your side. You've got to really be on top of this and get going because her health is tenuous at best.
I'd imagine they're looking at all sorts of house cameras in hopes of finding some indication of what's going on. What else would they be looking at to help find the person responsible?
They'd be doing canvases of the neighborhood also to, any kind. It's always amazing what you can get off, not only Ring cameras, but people that have cameras on their home for security that, look out into the street. And so something like that is always very helpful. And, sometimes it's a little bit of luck, but, of course, we'll take luck when we can get it. They're also interviewing is more people than you can imagine, friends and family and everybody, trying to find out if there's any recent incidences or anything that would indicate that someone was upset with her, or that someone had been contacting her about something as simple as investments. I mean, anything to find out if there's been some unusual contact, anything that they can do to get a lead on this case. And there are a whole lot of people working 24/7 on this thing because of the time concerns.
Greg Rogers is a former FBI agent. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Utah's Olympic and Paralympic Committee delivering an update to the International Olympic Committee in Milan. It marks the first in-person presentation since Salt Lake City was awarded the 2034 Winter Games bid in the summer of 2024. KSL's Alex Cabrero has the recap.
It's the first time the Utah 2034 Olympic and Paralympic Committee has presented to the International Olympic Committee since the IOC awarded Salt Lake City, Utah the bid right before the Paris Olympics. That was in the summer of 2024. And as always, the IOC loves Utah's plan.
Hosting the games is an honor and a privilege.
Fraser Bullock was one of those from Utah's team to present to the IOC here in Milan. The whole idea behind this important session was to provide an overview of Utah 2034's preparedness and work accomplished by the organizing committee since its formation last year. And while other future host cities also presented today, a big part of their speeches were around building venues. For Utah, our venues are already built. But what the IOC really loves about our plan is something called the Athletes Initiative. This is where families of athletes will have a place to stay in Utah, especially when costs to see your son or daughter compete can be sky high, since many of them qualify at the last minute.
We're going to change that model, make it so welcoming for families, and what better place in Utah than to send a message and welcome families.
Athletes' families are the backbone of an athlete's success in so many different ways. So for us as a community in Utah to put our arms around athlete families and support them in a new way is something that everyone is really looking forward to.
Yeah, if anything, the IOC told the Utah committee to slow down a little bit and not to over-prepare for the games. But our committee says preparing, that's just what we're good at in Utah, especially because we only have 8 years to go. In Milan, Alex Cabrera, KSL 5 News.
After the break, we'll talk about this week's Winter Games and the last-minute preparations currently underway. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Tito?
Looks like congestion is starting to build if you're heading east or westbound on Pioneer Crossing in Lehigh. Other than that, our major valley freeways are still trouble-free as we head into the 3 o'clock hour. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Join KSL's Greenhouse Show live during Ovation Homes Fall in Love with Your Home open house February 14th. Preview 2 home sites, West Point or Sadie Glen in Syracuse. Details, visit ovationhomesutah.com.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and they watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror. I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness,
that
is something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
Amanda, I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we've got permission to give you 15% off at andcollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, andcollar.com.
Who doesn't love winning? Right now at KSL.com/win, you'll find exciting contests with prizes you actually want. Tickets, gift cards, and more. It's fast, it's free, and you can enter in just a few clicks. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit KSL.com/win today and enter to win. That's KSL.com/win.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio. Brought to you by America First Credit Union.
With just 2 days until the Milan Cortina Games, workers are putting the final touches on all the venues. That includes layer after layer of slick ice. KSL's Matt Gephardt has more.
You wouldn't say they're working around the clock per se. Italians have a very healthy work-life balance. They also have a very strong sense of pride in making sure they are ready to host the best athletes on planet Earth.
This is Sam. Sam makes ice.
You have to wait like a couple of minutes.
There's an art to it.
You have to freeze the water and create layers by layers by layer, but really thin.
It is 40 degrees outside today, so all those layers need the assistance of some under-track refrigeration to become the hard, fast ice, perfect for an athlete to fly down at breakneck speeds.
Best in the world.
Not so perfect if you're not an athlete in rubber-soled boots. And when your job title is ice maker,
did you see that these lines?
The ice speaks to you.
It's a crash. So here they crash.
Like many of the Olympic things in this town, the sliding center is almost ready to go.
Are you going to be ready to go? Yeah. You're ready.
It will get across the finish line if this ice maker has anything to say about it. After all, working on the games, it's about a lot more than a paycheck.
Why did you decide to do this job? Honestly, because I always dreamed to work with the Olympics, but it was just a dream for me, for a lot of the Italians also, And when I had this opportunity, I was so happy.
Here in Cortina, I have met several people who are Italian. They're from Italy, but they aren't necessarily from Cortina. Sam, for example, he actually is from Rome. He goes to college there, but about 6 months ago, he says he took some time off and moved to Cortina, specifically to live out his Olympic dream of making Olympic ice. In Cortina, Matt Gephardt, KSL 5 News.
On Friday, athletes from around the world will celebrate the Winter Games with the opening ceremony. Among the pomp and circumstance, teams from each country will appear before massive crowds carrying their flags and showing their national pride. 2 athletes have been chosen to carry the American flag for Team USA, including someone from Utah. KSL's Sam Farnworth got a chance to speak with speed skater Aaron Jackson, who lives and trains here.
You know, it takes a special athlete to become an Olympic athlete and compete at the Olympic Games. And we have more than 80 of them from Utah competing here in Milan on the international stage going for gold. But it takes an extraordinary Olympian to lead his or her country into the Olympic Stadium with the flag on opening ceremonies. And this morning, Utah resident and speed skater Aaron Jackson received that recognition.
The time to beat 37.12. It's going to be quick. It's going to be really quick. Is it quick enough? Yes, it is.
She's already an Olympic legend. Erin Jackson becoming the first black woman to win individual gold at the Winter Olympics 4 years ago in Beijing.
Glory for Erin Jackson coming through in the clutch.
So it's fitting that she's leading Team USA into the legendary San Siro Stadium on Friday at the opening ceremonies.
It's pretty overwhelming, I guess, to think about it. And yeah, it's just a really big honor. I can't even find the words for it. But yeah, I'm really proud to be able to carry the flag.
Jackson, voted on by her fellow United States Olympians to be one of the 2 flag bearers, along with bobsledder Frank Del Duca, becomes the second straight speed skater and Utahn to carry the flag. Brittany Bowe held that honor in Beijing.
I feel like I've already learned so much from Brittany. I've known her for, over 20 years at this point, since I was 10 years old, and I've looked up to her ever since then. And it's just, amazing to kind of continue that legacy. And to be able to experience it last games with Brittany carrying the flag, and now this time with me carrying the flag, it's been really awesome.
Yeah, now the opening ceremonies, they will be actually televised live here on KSL 5 on Friday, starting at about noon, and then an encore presentation, some condensed coverage of it coming up later that evening. So we'll look forward to seeing Erin bring in that flag over there at San Siro Stadium.
And that is KSL's Sam Farnsworth there. And make sure you join us here on Midday every weekday during the Milan Cortina Winter Games. Over the next few weeks, we'll get live reports from our KSL team on the ground there in Italy. Beginning on Friday, we'll get that check-in every weekday at 2:40 right here on Midday. The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by America First Credit Union. You won't want to miss it. So Jeff Kaplan has now joined me in the studio. And what are you looking forward to when it comes to the Winter Games?
I'm looking forward to hearing our correspondents when they come back to Salt Lake City and tell us about the Italian food.
That's what we know about pasta. Pasta is delicious.
I'm looking forward to it. I get way too into the Olympics. I'm going to be watching every minute I can.
Figure skating. Oh.
Lindsey Vonn. Waiting for the Lindsey Vonn thing.
Can't wait to watch. All right. Thanks for joining us for Midday. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.